AI campaign. Everything's AI today.
I'm not real. What are we doing? That's the one. Alright, so what's good? My name's Ash, and I am a photographer and videographer from the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia. Today I wanted to take you behind the scenes of a shoot I did recently with some friends of mine from FREND COLLECTIVE. We're going to talk a little bit about the gear, what goes into the shoot, and I'll show you the final piece at the end of the video. So on the day I had 3 different cameras set up. Realistically, I used pretty much 2 of them for most of everything. I shot with the Sony FX6 for the main campaign video. I paired that with the Sigma 24mm 1.4, which is what I'm shooting on right now. I just really love this lens. It's something about the width of it. I mean, my go-to lens a lot of the time is the convenience of the 24-70. But the 24 1.4, just like the dedicated 24, is just, I know there's just something about it that is, I don't know, it's really, really nice. I love the depth of field on it. There's just something about the 24mm 1.4. I just love the focal length, love the width and the depth of field that I get on it. I don't know, I've just really gravitated to it recently, especially like shooting my own personal content, and I've started using it a lot in my campaign content. The second camera that I used the majority of the day was actually the Sony ZV-E1, which is also what I'm filming on right now. We used that as basically like a BTS, like a purposeful BTS camera for the shoot. And yeah, really like the colors that come off this camera. Love the shape, the size. It's just super convenient, really nice and compact, and you can put it somewhere and it's not really in the way. The third and final camera, which we used for one particular shot, is the Sony a7S III. I wanted to use something with 240 frames, so we just popped down to basically full HD to utilize that frame rate. In terms of like other gear that we used on the day, we used a little bit of lighting for some of the shots. I picked up recently a Godox Lightmon 600, and I tell you what, like, it's just such an awesome light. And I think maybe it's just because I've never had a 600 watt light, like constant. And I know sort of aperture 600D is kind of the epitome of what, you know, most people will be using. This thing has been fantastic. I use it on campaign stuff. I use it in studio. Taking it out on this shoot was a lifesaver in some of those spots because, you know, you just need just that extra bit of, you know, light to really make the shots pop. So one of the things I wanted to cover and talk about was whenever people sort of break down shoots, it's a lot of gear heavy stuff. And yes, the gear does a lot of heavy lifting throughout a shoot, but some of the things that I feel like really make a shoot come together is sort of building out the world that your client envisions. So for me, all of those things that really come into play is the concept, the location, the styling, and the music to edit to. All of those really play into what the final concept is going to turn out like. You know, for me, when I'm sitting there, the mood of a video can be completely thrown by like the type of music that you're using. What's been awesome working with Jamie and Cam is they sort of give me free rein. They sort of trust me in knowing what I'm looking for and I guess stylistically what they're after. I often feel like if the music isn't right, then the pacing and the feel of the entire video can feel a little bit off. It doesn't matter how good your shots are, how awesome the color is. If the pacing doesn't feel right, if the flow doesn't feel good, I don't know if it actually heads in the right direction. Something else that I think is really important for brands to be aware of is styling. Now, if you're a small brand and you don't have a lot of products, you still have to stylize the products the best that you can, everything from shoes, socks, caps, accessories, whatever it is. A big shout out to V, who killed the styling on this shoot. Simple things can really elevate a piece as simple as like a t-shirt. And it also, that ties in with the brand as well, which is really important. What type of shoe does your consumer wear? Or does, would they wear a certain type of thing? Those things all play into the world that you're building. Another thing I think that's worth noting is how important it is to be around your peers and other creatives and other like-minded individuals. It's one thing to take a job, it's a whole other thing to really just enjoy the process of what's happening. A lot of times when we show up to these shoots as planned as we are, it's a good chance to catch up and discuss what's going on in the industry, things that we see that we like or what we could be doing differently, things that we could try for the brand and see how it works. I often ask clients where we shoot regularly whether there were things that happened that worked really well from the previous shoots or things that we should be trying, or if there's something new or different that we should keep an eye on. So we're trying to create and construct a feeling that resonates with the customer and to new eyeballs as well. So it's cool, being able to have these conversations with other creatives and the people involved in the brand. I think it's really important to take stock of a shoot and understand what you could have done better and what you've learned from it. For me, I always go into every shoot with high expectations and a little bit of pressure. You want to be, and at the same time, you want to make sure you're learning from those experiences. And a big one for me is the balance between storytelling and actually selling a product. It's pretty easy sort of to tip one way or the other. Often you can probably fall into the category of being a little bit too storytelling and, it's very artistic, I guess. And the other thing that you don't want to fall into is, I think we've moved past the hypey hype kind of videos where it's just product in your face the whole time. You just need to find a middle ground between selling and finding your soul, I guess, which is, always an interesting meter to gauge. I guess on a personal level, what's really cool is just, this sort of shoot reminds me of why I do this. I love working with the guys. It makes you appreciate the jobs you can say yes to and the jobs that you have done, and the ability that if you wanted to say no to a particular job that you can. It's definitely something that has resonated with me. I've tried to be a lot more intentional with the stuff I'm shooting lately, whether it's fashion or fitness, and really trying to be involved with the people that I work with. I want to create that relationship so we can build the world that they want for their brand. But I just wanted to shout out the crew, Jamie, Cam, V, and Briley. It was an epic day. The location was awesome, good vibes, the good energy, and it was just an awesome time. So doing cool stuff for brands is already epic, but being able to do them with your mates is way, way better than that. So go check out Friend Collective. I'll leave a link in the bio. The products are awesome. It's definitely worth checking out and picking up a piece if you can. So remember, get out there, get creating, and let's check out how it all came together.